What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's first wave of one-year conscripts are taking their final basic training test. It's part of Taiwan's effort to boost its defense and make sure as many young men as possible know what to do in the event of a conflict. Crawling through rough terrain, providing first aid, and moving as a team under enemy fire. These are just some of the skills Taiwan's first batch of one-year conscripts must master to graduate from basic training into the rest of the military.
难的话，可能就是打靶，因为从前完全没有接受过相关的训练。但经过班长的教导以及带领之后，我最后一次练习是满靶。
The training program is part of efforts to boost the country's combat readiness, as Taiwan faces a growing threat from China, which seeks to take over the country. In response, Taiwan extended mandatory military service from 4 months to a year in 2022 and reformed parts of its training and defense strategy. This included extending basic training from 5 weeks to 8 weeks, and unit training with other parts of the military from 8 weeks to 44 weeks. Recruits also now fire 800 live rounds, up from about 200 bullets previously. And a boost to monthly pay means conscripts now earn $830, up from 200. But the military says that the biggest change, aside from the longer training period, is a focus on more realistic combat training and working more closely as a team. These recruits started training 8 weeks ago, and officials here are proud of the results and the skills these conscripts have learned.
相信各位媒体朋友也可以感受到，他们从第一天报到到今天期末测验。 他们不管是身心灵，其实都有得到一个很大幅度的成长。那我这边也期许他们在下部队之后，能够有一个很好的一个发展，能够顺利退伍。
The military is on track to train over 9,000 conscripts this year, but these young men won't be on the front lines in a potential conflict. They'll play military support roles. Analysts say the extended service program is not a solution to Taiwan's low recruitment problem.
Even though the number of conscripts is going up, and so therefore that drives the overall number of people that Taiwan has in its military, they're not a replacement for regular forces. I mean, regular forces get more intensive training, they get more persistent training.
With more people in the military, analysts now say that Taiwan faces the problem of organizing different troops together. The extended conscription period is intended to help with conducting more complex training, like joint operations.
The integration between conscripted forces with the regular forces is absolutely essential. The last thing you want is to have a bunch of reservists or conscripted forces who don't know where they should be. And so the fact that they're training for a joint exercise, I think is quite helpful.
Officials in Taiwan say they value both quality and quantity in the conscript training program. The military expects many recruits here will pass the final exam with flying colors and hopes they can leave training with the skills needed to defend the country. Chris Ma and Jaime Ocon in Taitung for TaiwanPlus. China has delayed the return of 2 Taiwanese fishers from the Kinmen Islands. As John Ventrias reports, the decision comes as tensions between the countries remain high in the waters nearby.
2 Taiwanese fishers rescued by China's Coast Guard were supposed to return home on Tuesday after being handed over to authorities in Kinmen. But Tuesday has come and gone, and questions are mounting over why China's holding on to them. The fact that one is serving in Taiwan's military has been put forward as a reason for the delayed release. But defense analysts are not convinced, as China handed over another military member rescued in 2017.
因为他的确没有任何的意图啊，那但是我们也要防范说他拖延时间久一点，然后让金门这边焦虑，或者是必须要提什么条件，或者是跟他谈判等等啊，就很难说。
But there is another possibility. The Kinmen Islands, a Taiwanese county just off China's coast, have felt the brunt of recent cross-strait tensions. Taiwan and China are still at odds over the fatal collision of a Taiwanese Coast Guard vessel and a Chinese boat in a restricted zone off the islands in February. China has responded by increasing its own Coast Guard patrols around the islands, including in forbidden zones. It's a move some analysts say is meant to test Taiwan's ability to police its own waters and put the area under effective Chinese control. Though Taiwan and China put their differences aside for a joint search and rescue operation in the area last week, tensions haven't eased. Whatever China's reasons, authorities on the islands haven't given up on the fishermen's return.
海上突发状况的人道救援是普世价值，现在最重要的是将2位平安顺利地接回金门。目前由金门县政府及海巡单位在协调中。
But for now, China is silent, and when the fishermen will return home is an open question. Scott Huang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Opposition party lawmakers are challenging President Tsai to visit an island in the disputed South China Sea before the end of her term, saying that if she doesn't, they will.
以前两位总统都有去过，这个应该没有什么紧张的问题。宣示主权，自己的国家、自己的领土应该没有这个问题。
Taiwan governs the island known in the country as Taiping. Tsai has not visited it during her 8 years in office and has avoided publicly committing to going before she steps down in May. Lawmakers from the ruling parties say the opposition is trying to pressure Tsai into an unnecessary stunt that would raise tensions in the region. China, the Philippines, and Vietnam all have competing claims over the Spratly Islands, of which Taiping is the largest. The U.S. has announced that all 4 Sea Guardian drones ordered by Taiwan will be delivered by 2027. First ordered in 2020, the drones will arrive in 2 batches, scheduled for 2026 and 2027. They'll come with ground control stations and other support equipment. Experts say the drones can fly at high altitudes over long distances and are compatible with weapon systems, making them useful for both surveillance and combat. Veteran basketball guard Jaime has been suspended for 5 games for getting a prohibited blood treatment. Taiwan's Plus League penalized a former NBA champion after he received intravenous laser irradiation of blood, which is forbidden by the World Anti-Doping Agency under policies against blood manipulation. Lin also faces a fine of nearly $5,000 for the violation. Lin's team, the New Taipei Kings, issued a statement saying that the therapy was intended to help Lin recover from a foot injury, not enhance his performance. The Kaohsiung city government is using 5G and augmented reality at its zoo. Irene Lin looks at how this new tech is letting people get up close with the wildlife.
Augmented reality is letting people get up close and personal with zoo animals. At this year's Smart City Expo in Taipei, a team from the southern city of Kaohsiung is using new tech to break barriers and establish the world's first smart zoo.
设计了很多的虚拟动物，让大家可以去做彩绘。
Using AR glasses and 5G, zoogoers can interact with animals digitally and learn more about them through educational games.
5G 专网的方式，透过3个人可以同时连线对战，那也可以借由游戏当中可以体验到一些比较不一样的一些趣味。
Outside of the zoo, these technologies have more to offer and can be seen in art shows across the country. Kaohsiung's deputy mayor says the new applications deserve to be seen in more entertainment venues in the city.
这几个技术的应用都还在持续发展中，甚至我们都正在考虑我们自己的高雄市的火车站愿景馆，届时也会希望用这一套的技术。
The Kaohsiung city government may be setting an example with this technology, and their presence at this year's Smart Expo may inspire other Taiwan cities, making them a little smarter. Justin Wu and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's first ever wildlife rescue center has treated 14,000 animals since its founding. The Ministry of Agriculture established the country's central animal clinic in 1993. Besides treating injured wild creatures, it's also bred and reintroduced endangered species into their natural habitats. These include leopard cats, Formosan black bears, and pangolins. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at these Fallas Festival sculptures in Spain's central Valencia. They'll be burned as festival comes to an end. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.